Almost unimaginable when you see video like this out of Southern California and know that was somebody's neighborhood. Thousands of structures burned. You know, many homeowners in Southern California now face the daunting task of rebuilding their homes, some of them without insurance. Before the wildfires, insurers dropped coverage for thousands of Los Angeles homeowners. The numbers show dropped policies is a growing trend for private insurers with rising non-renewal rates in place prone to climate disasters. This is going to be a national conversation as our climate changes. So let's bring in CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, we keep hearing insurance companies are losing. Is it that they're losing or is it that they're just not making as much money?
So, Reed, the answer is kind of both, right? So at the top line, you hear insurance companies, they're making record profits, more than we've ever seen in years before. But there's tons of different types of insurance. So when you drill down on the type of insurance as well as the state, that's where you start to see more differentiation. So let's take Southern California as an example in 2025. In homeowners, property and casualty insurance, that area you're likely going to see a loss versus maybe another state that didn't have this kind of mass disaster type of event. And if you look at State Farm in particular, so in 2023, they recorded net profits in their property and casualty insurance of $88 billion, but they also recorded an underwriting loss. So that means that all of the revenue that they came in, they actually recorded more loss than they did revenue, but they actually recorded record profits because what they were able to do is previous years where, you know, they actually made more money than they needed. They're able to take some of that money and then invest it and then cover those losses. So the answer to your question is kind of both, but right. The reason why these insurance companies are pulling out or not renewing is that when you have multiple years in a row in these particular types of states, that's when those losses incur year after year, and you don't sort of have that safety net from previous years.
Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper into the insurance crisis, Kelly. It's not just happening in the state of California. Of course, California is commanding the headlines right now. But we are seeing climate disasters like wildfires, hurricanes, driving insurers across the U.S. to drop coverage for homeowners. So what's next for the insurance industry? Will it evolve?
So I think you're going to see a couple of things. You may see more insurance companies leave states. You know, it's in California, for example, and Florida. It's not just that people's policies weren't renewed. These companies decided to leave the state entirely because they were looking at this and the risk of disasters, and it wasn't a good business decision to take that risk and insure people. So you could see that being one sort of path forward. You're also going to see, Reed, insurance premiums go up for all of us, not just people in these disaster areas, which you will see those go up as well, because insurance companies, for the most part, in most states, are able to take those losses and then pass the costs on to the rest of us, even if we don't live in those types of areas. And then in general, you are starting to see a conversation happen where we may have a reckoning in this industry when it comes to legislation and regulation. But of course, that takes time. The more immediate result of this is that insurance premiums are going to go up, Reed.
Well, you speak to legislation. We know insurance companies have many lobbyists, both at the state and national level, where lawmakers are writing policy right now. They have a voice in the room. Kelly, let's switch gears just a little bit and talk about another big headline right now in the business world, especially the world of artificial intelligence. The Biden administration is proposing new restrictions on the export of AI chips. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this sort of caps their big push when it comes to artificial intelligence to protect national security as well as to protect the U.S.'s standing as #1 when it comes to artificial intelligence innovation. So there is a new proposal on the table today. It won't take effect for a couple of months, so there is time for President-elect Trump, if he disagrees, to sort of come in with this and chart a different course. But for now, the chip exports banned when it comes to China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Then there's a group of countries where chip exports are limited, and then there's the allies of the U.S. where it's just unlimited. But really, this is, from the tech industry standpoint, a big frustration because, of course, China is a huge revenue generator when it comes to these AI chips. So a lot of tension right now when it comes to making money, but also protecting national security, Reed.
Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much. You always break it down to make these very big issues ways that we can understand them. We appreciate it so much, my friend.